So that's how you get off track on the system. But how can we avoid getting off track? What things can we do to make sure that that doesn't happen? Well, the first thing you want to talk about is it's about focusing on projects. Okay, so projects are where most of your grade comes from, and actually they're worth multiple letter grades. So it can make an impact, a huge impact to your grade, because they could be between 70 and 80% of your overall grade. So it's very important that you don't drop the ball on projects. So the first advice I have for that is to try to work hard during class. Make the most out of your class time, because if you do so, it is very likely that you're going to work where you have friends around and a teacher around, and that will allow you to get the kind of help you need. So the class time, core class time, is the best time to work hard. You can say like, I'll just fool around in class and I'll get it done when I get home. But then you don't have help. You don't have the teacher. You don't have your friends. You're less likely to do well. Of course, if you do need to get help outside of class, sure, do it. But it's better if you do well in class. Also, you should avoid doing project work, doing STL time, because if you do so, you can end up falling behind on your content assessments. So another reason to do well in class is so that you don't have to waste STL time, student-directed learning time, learning or working on projects. And lastly, you also don't want to have to do homework, right? So if you don't get that done even during the STL time, you're going to end up having to go home to finish your project, and that's not ideal. You're not going to have people to help you around, and you're going to have to waste your personal time doing that. So now, of course, if you do have to, use STL to finish the project, do homework to finish the project, but you want to avoid doing those kinds of things. So the key also is following along on the feedback that the teacher gives you. So when you get feedback from the teacher, you want to make sure that you actually do exactly what the teacher tells you to do, so that by the next time it's submitted, you do a better job. And if you don't get feedback, or if you don't get a feedback as often as you should or need, get at the teacher. Ask the teacher for the feedback that you need. Now, on these rubric snapshots, for example, you can actually see that, and you can get to this from any checkpoint or final product. On the right side of the screen, you have a rubric, and you can often see the teacher is going to actually highlight areas of the rubric in green that represent things you have done, and in gray, highlight words or chunks or paragraphs that represent the things you need to do in order to get to the next level. And they will often also include written commentary or comments that they attach to certain parts of your work and actually tell you exactly what to do. So what you want to do with that is actually read that feedback, internalize it, see what score you got, see what the teacher is saying that you need to do to move to the next level by looking at the rubric, and internalize those comments as well and follow up on them so that you can improve your grade as much as possible. Remember, when it comes to checkpoint feedback, continue working means you did pretty well, that you are on track to perform above the grade level, or at least hit the target, not above the grade level, but at least hit the target. But that doesn't necessarily mean there's not things you could improve. Still look at that feedback and follow along with it. Review feedback means you are on track to perform above grade level, with a yellow color, but not necessarily hitting the target that you need to hit. So you got to take steps to do better. You got to ask the teacher what you need to do, follow along the feedback, use the resources posted, look for resources on your own, talk to friends, come to office hours, do whatever you need to do from those options or all of the above to get better by the time the final product is due. And then as far as stopping and revising, that's a red. That means that you are on track to perform below the minimal grade level expectations, or you didn't do anything. And that's usually a bad sign. You got to keep up. You got to do everything I just said that there are yellow people should do, but with a more sense of urgency. So yeah, follow along with feedback is key. Some of it is less about grades. It's more about feedback. And that following on that feedback is the key to make sure that you do better. So with that in mind, you have to remember that if you're not going to get feedback if you don't turn it in. So it's very important to turn it in and turn it in on time, because a lot of times teachers don't actually get to give you feedback if you turn it in late, because they have to move on to other things. So if you want to guarantee you get feedback, do so. And the sooner you turn it in, the better likely that you're going to catch the teacher when he's still fresh and giving the best feedback. So the sooner you do it, probably the better. Now, remember also that it is the best score in any given cognitive skill that actually sticks. So if you have multiple opportunities in it, and you can see that on that grade view, this is a snapshot of it again, the best one, the highest score you get is the one it's going to take. So always take the future opportunities to improve your grade. And you often get the practice skills across subjects. You may have the same skills show up in social studies, in English, in science. So take opportunities to practice skills in many different areas that will actually help you do better every time they show up. But of course, the performance that you count for any given subject is the performance in that subject. So the grade you get in English is not going to help you with the grade in science, but the practice you take from science is going to matter. So take every class seriously because you never know. It might help you. Maybe the class you're strong in could actually even help you with the class you're weak in because the skills is what matters and they happen across the classes. Now, you also have to remember that if you have a chance, you should resubmit projects. Teachers sometimes allow for draft submissions or even corrections after the projects are submitted. If that's possible, do it. Every step counts, right? Or you can do well on future projects that hit the same skills again. If you struggle in past projects, and make sure to use this screen, the grade overview page, to see when you're going to get those kinds of chances. If you are within the grade overview page and you scroll down, you can see all the number of times you're going to have a chance to take this project and when the next time is going to be. Even the course overview will give you that same kind of information if you are on the year page and click on the course. You can also see from here with the question marks when is the next time that you're going to get the chance and how many chances you're going to get to do better. So I also advise students to make sure before they start a project to see if this is the last chance they have on any skill. And if it is, to make sure they do as best as they can on that skill, ask the teacher as much as possible for help because that's the last chance they have to capitalize on that skill. Now, if you notice the student in the left of this snapshot actually got scores that were above the grade level maximum. So that's why they got 100% of their cognitive skills. Definitely don't need to do that. That's like above and beyond. But every time you go above the minimal on any one given skill, that helps the average go up and make up for a skill where you actually perform low. So if that student had low skills, that will help their overall grade be higher. So that's another strategy that is pretty smart. And besides, doing better on a skill can help you just be a better overall person. If you already have 100% in the cognitive skills, doing better on them is not really going to help your grade. So probably not the right place to focus if you're trying to get better with grades wise. You probably need to find if there's a content assessment that you haven't passed or another subject that you need to focus on more because that subject is under control. But if everything else is already under control, if your cognitive skills are already high, you can still push yourself to do better and then improve beyond the level that you're in right now, even your grade level. That can only help you do better in the future, whether it is making it easier for you in the next year or just grow as a person. It's in the challenge, it's in the pain that you actually get better. Always challenge yourself, never stop growing, right? Now, I'm going to give you guys 10 strategies, one by one, that actually help students do well on projects. So listen up carefully, take notes. This is the most important thing you can do to actually do well. So I did have a lot of general advice here, but these are the key 10 strategies that a student should do to maximize their performance on projects. Okay, so all of these strategies are in a document called Secrets to Improve Your Grade within the Summit platform, which is linked in the description of the video down below. So first of all, always pay attention to the teacher when they are giving directions on what to do on the project. Take notes even on that. That makes it life a lot easier so that you don't have to repeat or ask questions later. Pay attention when the instructions for the checkpoint are being given when he's going over the rubric or she's going over in the rubric. Use the posted resources within the platform to your advantage, okay? Especially if there's checklists that can help you make sure that you did everything you're supposed to do. Definitely jump on those. Always review. Number 3, always review the rubric itself, okay? So you're going to go to the platform. I'm going to actually show you this. So first of all, if you're trying to find resources for any given project, when you are in the project screen, and you do that by clicking on the name of the project, the overview page is what you land on when you click on the project. And that, if you scroll down, there's going to be resources for you. Also, in each checkpoint and final projects, there's other resources. Remember, look for things which are checklists. The other thing I was saying is the rubric. Every checkpoint has one, but even in the project overview, you can click on the rubric and then make sure to look for words between the layers that are different. It is looking at those key words which change from one to the next. that allows you to actually make the difference between them. For example, here it says, establish a situation and organize a sequence of events using some traditional words or phrases. While meanwhile, this says, establish the situation and organizes a sequence of events using a variety of transitional words, phrases, and clauses. So now I'm looking for a variety, not some transitional words. I want clauses, I want phrases, right? So the clauses is the added word and a variety. So I want to see a lot of variety in what they do that. And that is a narrative skill, right, from composing and writing that I'm using as an example here. So anyways, by looking at the rubric and looking at those key words that make a difference, it can help you improve into the next level. And if this is a skill you don't have, work with your teacher, work with your mentor to understand how to do this. Understanding the rubric is key for success. 4, check in regularly with your teacher during class. So let you know at least every 20 to 30 minutes. Show them what you're actually doing and ask them, how am I doing? Is there anything I need to do better? Definitely do that before submitting it. Don't wait for the actual checkpoint to be due to get some feedback. Set a timer, and every time it goes off by 30 minutes or 20 minutes, check in with the teacher. If they don't come to you, you'll go to them. Always ask for help if you need it too. Don't wait 30 minutes. The moment you don't know what you're doing, ask for help, whether it's a friend or a teacher. Just make sure the teacher's okay with you be talking with a friend. They know that you're collaborating and trying to get help with the test. Be respectful of the classroom environment. But definitely get feedback as often as possible. Then submit the project checkpoint when they are due or even before they are due if possible. We talked about this already. Getting the best feedback you can is key because feedback is the most important way to do better. And of course, this avoids you not getting feedback at all. Because sometimes when you turn it in late, you end up not getting any feedback. When you get feedback, we've already talked about this, follow up on the feedback. If you don't understand the feedback or need the teacher's help or friends' help, work with them. Talk to the teacher during class or during SDL time, office hours. Do whatever you need. Ask for help to understand what you need to do and then actually follow up on that feedback before the next submission. And then don't forget, submit it as soon as possible for the final product. When you submit the final product, again, do so before the deadline if possible, especially if there's a draft submission. That way you can get the good quality feedback and perhaps fix it if your teacher allows that to happen. This also helps you avoid last-minute work, which usually can be rushed. A lot of times we procrastinate and it works, and we say like, okay, this works. I'll keep doing this next time. And we get into this vicious cycle of procrastination where we always do last-minute work. But I promise you, even if it works, last-minute work is never as good as the work would have been if you had done earlier and worked hard throughout, okay? Last but not least, even after the final product, review the feedback you received on it. What was your final score? What is your actual grade? What did they mark on the rubric? Any comments the teacher left? Because a lot of times it will be the last opportunity you have in the year to do better. So that will help you do better. Then that takes me to the next point. Take advantage of chances, the future chances that you get on doing well on the same cognitive skill. Look on the grade overview or the course overview page, right? So I had showed you earlier in the video where you can find those, and look for when the next chance is going to be for you to do well. And then before you start on a project, go back and check if you got feedback on the previous project that hit the same skill, what the feedback you got was. That way you make sure that you start this new project where you left off with your skill in the previous one, and that makes sure that you can make the best work you can put out each time, right? Never forget to look at the project and see before you start and see if this is the last chance you get on a cog skill, by the way, because after that, you can't fix it. And last, most importantly, okay, not least, always do the best you can. Work as hard as you can in class and outside of it if you have to. Focus and avoid distractions. Get away from friends that don't help you. All right. You may want to work with your friend, but if they're actually making you not finish the work and do not do your best work, then it's better not be around them. Okay. Be close to the people that actually help you do your best. And then get the work done in class to avoid having to do homework. If you don't, finish doing SDL, but avoid doing that too much because if you do that, you might end up falling behind on content assessments. And if you need to, do homework. But if you do need to do homework because you didn't finish that day's work, try to do it today, the same day you didn't get it done in class, or at least the very next day. Don't let it fall behind. Don't let it pile up, right? And if other commitments allow, if you don't have other things which are falling apart that you have to take care of, do continue to push for improvement, even if your skills are already high. because that kind of attitude is what makes you a better student as time goes by. So on the next video, we're going to be focusing on what you can do to improve your grade in content assessments. And remember that projects are worth more though. So the key way to improve your grade is to do the things I talked about in this video. But if your projects are under control, or if you just need a quick fix and content assessments could be it, the next video might be helpful for you. I'll see you guys then.